Hi everyone, we will talk today about software development lifecycle, how to make it faster, better and cheaper, and how to use different tools, approaches and best practices to achieve this goal. My name is Aleksandr Gushchin and I'm working at EPAM for the last 10 years. And totally I have about 20 years experience in software development in different roles, including development, working with data, databases, management, quality assurance and other roles. At the moment, I'm playing a role of delivery manager and I'm responsible for a big team work on software development for big clients. Also, I'm a part of engineering excellence team, EngX team, which is responsible for engineering practices, rolling it out across the globe and applying it to all our projects. The goal of engineering excellence is to make sure that software development is performed with a fast speed, with the best quality and with the cheapest possible price. Let's talk a little bit about SDLC, Software Development Lifecycle. What is that about? Actually, this is about delivering a business value for a client in form of software application, software system, IT system with infrastructure, with application itself, with the databases, with configuration and marketing. And through the IT system, you may bring some, business functions for your end users, for end clients, which will bring a value for them and for your business. Well, knowing that SDLC is to bring a business value, our goal is to make sure that the business value is properly defined, understood by the teams, and executed with a minimal waste, with the minimal possible efforts, and in the faster timeline. And if you have a project management background, you may concern that it's not possible to do something faster with the decreased price and with the increased quality. It's contradict to main principles of project management. If you increase the scope or if you decrease the timeline, it will affect your other aspects of delivery, such as, budget or the timeline or needed efforts. So in general, it's true. We cannot increase the quality of application up until the moment we will spend more effort on quality-related activities, meaning that it will cost you more. At the same time, if you apply new technologies, if you apply engineering best practices, it may mean that you will not spend the money for the waste. Waste, this is any activities which are related to to support movement of business value from idea to production environment to business value delivering. At the same time, those activities don't bring the business value itself. Let me provide you a very simple example. If you are talking about testing, for example, if you have an application which is already working and we would like to execute the test, it doesn't bring a value for the business because this is focused on increasing the quality. If you are talking, for example, about UAT environment or about development environment, it doesn't bring a value for business. This is still something which is needed to bring a value from idea, from business, from development team to production environment. So all this way, the way of software from idea, from the people brain, from development machine to production environment is really a waste for the business. So our goal is pretty simple, is somehow to understand what it includes, what this way includes, what activities it includes, what its cost, and how we can decrease this cost. Let me show you a very simple example. If you have some business idea on the entrance to software development lifecycle, but this business idea is wrong, So you will spend a lot of time of developers, of testers, of business analysts and architects to formulate it, to prepare the code, to roll it out on development and then pre-production and production environments, to test it, and end users will not use it at all, just because it's not required by the market. So missing some market research may bring wrong idea to production, and as a result, it will be a pure waste of budget for your business. Other words, making a mistake on some step may cause significant losses in terms of budget, in terms of time, in terms of people effort. And it's not related to the only business idea. It relates to all of the activities. First of all, I would say that we know about development itself, about testing in development. We know about quality assurance activities, and on each step, you may create some mistake. It's okay. The mistake is our reality, our world. However, it's really critical. How do you work with mistakes? In Agile, it doesn't really matter what is your starting point. What is critical is to understand what was wrong, what was not good, and what should be changed. How do you need to improve your next iteration? How do you need to change your approach in delivery to decrease the number of waste? And we follow this principle in our concepts. Let's talk little bit about the phases of SDLC and about few very basic principles. And also, let me mention a little bit about the applicability, area of applicability. First of all, if you are talking about SDLC, we need to define what is the business needs, what are the requirements, what are the business, what may be a pain point of the business, or competitors' demand on the market, and what do you need to apply for your existing business system. The second step is to compare solutions, to find out if some solution already exists on the market, just to reuse it. Don't spend, the budget for custom development, or maybe vice versa. You need completely custom development as you are a pioneer in this area. Then we can talk about, designing of the requirements, designing of the constraints, designing of the solution itself. So all steps related to architects, business analysts, designers, activities. And as a result, in most cases, we have requirements for our developers, for our development team, who will create the system. So the next activity is just implementation, development of new functionality, modifying existing solution, preparing the code, and updating the code base. As a result of this activity, you may have a new application, new services, which will bring a new business value. And the next phase, in most cases, is related to testing, to making sure that the functionality is working as expected. It's pretty wide, area, which may include a lot of different types of the testing, including integration, component, system testing, etc., and may include a lot of people. At the same time, after that, we may have some kind of data preparation, of training for end users or for the customers, as well as rolling it out to production environment with next monitoring and production support. As you see, there are a lot of activities on the way of business idea going to production environment, and there are a lot of steps. Some of them are under control of development team. And as I told, if you make a mistake on some step, for example, you are providing bad quality requirements, you are changing the requirements inside of development activities during development activities, or especially if you, update the requirements after implementation is done, it means that some of the activities, or maybe even all activities, will be re-executed again and again. And a lot of people effort will be, just wasted. So the idea here is pretty simple. if you do any kind of the step, it's really nice to have this step done with the highest quality. Of course, you may concern that if you increase the quality, you have to increase the cost and effort for this activity. And that's true. If we don't spend any effort for the quality could be low and the cost could be low. However, if you wish to have a quality like 90% or 95%, then you need to spend more and more money. And as closer you are going to 100% quality, as higher price for the quality will be for you. It means that in reality, you cannot achieve ideal quality. You always make a small mistake. And one of our goals is to find a balance between quality and the cost of the quality. And if we are talking about quality, once again, let me highlight, this is not only about the testing. This is also about all initiatives, all activities related to software development lifecycle, and not only. How do you do that? How do you, send your message? Which system do you use to send your message? How do you know that your message is received by appropriate person and understandable by this person? How you can make sure that your communication bring you necessary value, necessary feedback, necessary actions? This is all about quality. This is just an example. And if you're talking about requirements, let me stop on this factor once again. Let's imagine that you have very poor quality of requirements, and you have very high level, description. What exactly would you like to have as a result? And in this case, somebody else, for example, development lead or architect or business analytic or anybody else, will spend a time to clarify those requirements, to try to do something which is not higher quality, to bring you first iteration, then second iteration, then third iteration. And this is one of the principles of iterative development. At the same time, it's not always the best case, especially if you know what to do. So let's talk a little bit about area of applicability. When and how we can work with the SAM, with the SAM approach, with the SAM managerial approach, first of all. Let me explain. Let's imagine that you are working with a project in condition when you definitely know the scope. The scope is completely defined. It's, it's explained in the very detail. It's signed off that it would not be any kind of the changes at all, and the scope will not be increased, the scope will not be decreased. So everything about the scope is completely known in advance, as well as it will not be changed. Also, you did such projects in the past multiple times. You definitely know what to do. You definitely know how much time it will take. So do you think we really need Agile in this case? Just think about real worlds, not only about SDLC, but about, for example, building a car. You may know about Henry Ford, who designed a way how to manufacture a lot of cars in one by one with a minimal effort and with a minimal cost. Why he was able to do that? Just because he knows about the scope, he knows about the next steps. He didn't expect any changes in the requirements to the car. The car is not changing. So that's why in some areas Agile is not working well. In some areas, other methodologies of management is working well. And the same for us. If we did some activity multiple times and we know how to do that, this is like a factory. This is like a streamline which you just need to execute. And let's think about our activity. Do you know how to commit your changes? This is very usual activity. You, in most cases, just don't think about that. And commitment is just, automatic activity which doesn't require a lot of effort from developer. As well as we can say about other activities as well. For example, static code analysis. If you have a pipeline which includes Sonar Cube as in the middle, which analyzes your code changes and gives you report, this is a factory. This is well-known activity which you may just execute in a factory mode. without any changes to the process, without any changes to the scope. You have just new input, you expect some output in the same format, in the same timeline, in the same sequence. This is a factory. So that's why in some parts of our activity, you may use a factory. Let's imagine another aspect. You are providing a service. You don't know which kind of the input you will have on the entrance next. For example, production support. You just have some groups of the possible tasks. You may have an SLA for each task, and it's our reality. It could be another sequence of activities, another type of the management for this stuff. Let's imagine the situation when you definitely know that scope will be changes and the area is unknown for you. And the best case is, a war, something like a combat, a fighting right now. And if you are in the middle of fighting, Agile is not working at all. In this case, the army, in each army, provides a very clear instruction how to manage that, and all the time you have somebody like a commander who is responsible for a team, for a small team, who is providing all instructions in direct mode without any conversation with the team members in most cases. Why I've told about that? Because all the time you need to think about the current situation. How would you manage this activity, and what would you do in terms of level of automation, in terms of the level of potential waste, and in terms of potential saving? Why? Because if you are in unknown area, the best case is to move the situation to known area. What techniques do we know about that? Some stuff like proof of concept, for example, or you may do some kind of experimentation, very small one, without any output at all. But you will clarify the requirements, you will clarify the situation, clarify the constraints to know better what you will face during development. So if you see the task which is unknown for you, it doesn't really make a sense to take this task to the sprint because you don't know about constraints. You will not deliver this task in nearest sprint or in the faster possible way. The best case, if you continue investigation, if you work with your product owner, with your technical leads, architects on the experiment, on something very small to clarify the task better and to make sure that when the task will be under development with the production level quality, it will be well known, clear for everyone, and you won't expect any critical changes, any critical findings, such as dependencies or something like that. One of the recommendations from us is to make sure that each step of your activity completes with the best possible quality. If we are talking about requirements, it's nice to have the good quality requirements. If requirements are not clear, don't move it further. Don't put it to development team and to testing especially, just clarify the requirements. Understand it better, make sure that the level of uncertainty is decreased, and it will help you to save a lot of money and time. Once again, it doesn't really make a sense to start a development and then testing in standard way if the requirements is not clear, if the solution is not very clear for developers. Let's continue with development team activities. Let's imagine that we have a developer who is focusing on business functionality development, and he has 3 or 4 tasks in line for current sprint. And he is doing coding without TDD approach, without test-driven development approach. He's just creating a business a code which supports business functionality expected by product owner. And it's okay. A developer may assume that business functionality is ready and he may start with the next task. And he is not covering this functionality with unit tests. Do you think this is good or not good approach? Just think a little bit. developer will move his result of activity to tester, and testing team may perform some kind of the testing and find some bugs, and as a result, developer will re-execute his activity. He will spend more and more time. And we are not talking about only current functionality preparation, but also we are talking about long-term effects, which may include, a lot of rework during next feature implementation due to retrospective issues which could be introduced to new development code. So if you don't provide output from development with a high quality, which includes such stuff like, static code analysis, for example, or unit testing, it means that all potential issues, all potential, leakage of the quality, of the decreased quality will be found on the next steps, on the functional testing by developers, on the regression testing by somebody else, on the UAT by business stakeholders, or even on production. So that's why our approach is to make sure that you are not moving your task up until the moment you know about your quality. Yes, it could be a case when it's a time-critical task. You have to put your changes to production as early as possible. And you can do that. You can do it understanding the risk of decreasing the quality of your application or of your code. And in general, such situation is not an exclusion from the process, but in this case, you are creating a technical debt. And technical debt is what business completely ignores, is what product owners doesn't know about and don't prioritize in most of the cases. And you as a developer or you as an engineering manager, even you as a product owner should understand that such technical debt increase the cost of future development significantly, I would say drastically. So you have to spend a time on your technical debt. You have to properly register it and make sure that the technical debt is solved. And in this case, the quality of your application, the quality of each phase of the software development will be increased. And as a result, the cost of future maintenance of current development will be decreased. And once again, let me return back to the idea that increasing the quality requires additional effort. For example, unit testing creation, which takes a time from developer. How it can increase the performance, how it can increase the velocity? And the answer is pretty simple. Because of the waste on the next phases of the project. You may not face the waste right immediately. But for sure, you will face the situation when the bug will be introduced due to lack of unit testing coverage. And we are not talking about unit testing. We are talking about any kind of the quality gates which you can introduce to your activities, to your practice. Any kind of the prevention actions which may help you to increase the quality. You may ask me what about the level of unit testing. Is it okay to keep unit testing coverage like 50%, 80%, 95%, or 100% for all of the code? And I don't have exact answer for you. Actually, this is like a very questionable situation if you have low or high unit testing coverage. In most cases, most experts say that 80% of the unit testing coverage is enough. And I cannot say it for sure that this is good or not good. I would say that any kind of the quality gate is efficient as much as you can measure how much it costs and how much budget it will save for you in future. Our goal is to do not spend a time for the only, some quality related activities like unit testing, for example. But our goal is to understand how it affects the cost and timeline of your development, of your current development, as well as how much it saves us in future for not only your activities, not only developers' activities, but also all other engaged roles. Again, if we are talking about the quality in aspect of entire SDLC, I would say that any activity of the SDLC should be with a high quality, meaning that you should continuously check your quality. And it's a well-known approach from in quality assurance terms like continuous testing. So that's why you have to know about each your activity and make sure that any of your activity is executed with a high quality. Also, if you can find some issue in the very beginning of software development lifecycle, it will save you a lot of waste, because as later you are detecting some issue, as higher price you will pay for this issue, for fixing this issue, because you may need to re-execute a lot of activities, you may introduce new issues, and you will rerun your entire SDLC or significant part of SDLC from the very beginning. So this is another concept which is well known as shift to left approach. And how to do that? How you can find out when you need to shift something to the left? In EPAM, we use the technology which is well known as delivery pipeline creation. This is a model of all your activities inside of software development lifecycle, which including development activities, all kinds of the tests related to development or testing development, and then all kinds of the quality assurance activities related to testing itself, such as functional testing, regression testing, integration testing, and other stuff. And when you have a picture about your activities, when you have a measurement of your activities, how much time it takes for people, how much computing time it takes, how often it fails, and what is the reason of the fail, you may analyze your pipeline and better understand what should be changed. You may ask yourself, what is the reason of this particular failure? Why we have this issue on this step? And if you may find an answer, you can, combine different answers of different reasons, and then think about the root cause. Think about, the way how to prevent such issues in advance, in future. It may be registering some task to solve the technical debt, because something may be wrong in your current application, in your current flow, and you need to change something in your requirements, in your documentation, in your code base, in your, test automation scripts, etc. And at the same time, you may see that new activities should be added to the pipeline. Let me show you a very simple example. In Scrum, you have definition of ready. And if you follow the Scrum, then you have to take a task to the sprint only if it passes definition of ready. And definition of ready is excellent example of the quality gate, which you can constantly increase or constantly work on, explain to the business analyst, to the product owners, what exactly is not good for development team, what exactly is a source of the waste for entire delivery. And they may introduce some additional steps. For example, think about breaking down the task to the smaller pieces to make it autonomy, to make it, to make us possibility to perform testing independently from each other with a minimal number of dependencies, for example. Meaning that we are talking about the third concept which we need to have. And this is about measurement. This is about metrics, visibility and transparency about your delivery lifecycle, software development lifecycle, to better understand where you are, what are the problems, and what to let you be able to make a decision what exactly should be changed. I've talked about Scrum. I've talked about, SDLC cycle, including, different phases, which is very same as waterfall approach. And what exactly the software, the managerial approach, the managerial methodology for software development in our case, what would be the best? Waterfall or Agile or Scrum or Kanban? Let me spend a few minutes on this topic. First of all, there is no single answer. It really depends on the current, culture of development, on the current level of automation, on the current speed, on the current waste in the pipeline, in the software development activities. And that's why I can say that some activities you may prefer to shift right, to move to the later phases of delivery. Let me provide you an example about shift to right approach. Let's imagine that you have low level of test automation and you do regression testing for your existing application during a significant time, like a week by testing team. And in this case, you technically cannot do regression testing for each small new functionality. So let's imagine that developer is creating small feature for the business, and another developer is creating another small feature for the business, and the third one creates the third feature. You will do regression testing simultaneously for all three features for the pack of the features. And this is very usual, this is very normal for the case when regression testing requires significant effort and takes a long time to execute. You cannot technically perform regression testing for each feature independently. So that's why you need to execute regression testing on the right side of pipeline, closer to production, not in the very beginning. You cannot use shift to left approach in this case. Let's imagine another situation when you have very good architecture, when you have a very good level of automation for regression testing. And if you introducing new feature, you definitely know the areas which will be affected. And this is a small aspect of your entire application, of your entire ecosystem. And you need to perform regression testing in the small scope. It's fully automated, and it takes minimal time to execute regression testing for affected area. In this case, you are able to perform regression testing for even small change from developer. And it means that you will be able to release changes to production environment, even if this is one-line changer. Once again, if we are talking about waterfall, if we are talking about agile, if we are talking about, Scrum, Kanban, etc., each of the methodology, each of the framework has its own benefits and losses, has its own constraints, areas when you can apply this or that methodology for your delivery, and it really depends on your technological aspect of your pipeline, of the level of automation, on the level of quality, on the number of people, on the duration of your pipeline. If you have low level of automation, in most cases, you cannot follow even a standard Scrum approach. It will be hard for you to execute everything, including, development, analysis of the task, development testing, integration testing, and other aspects for the big application in 2 weeks frame. And you may need to execute something else, like, long-lasting sprints, like 3 or 4 weeks, or even releases in big chunks, like release to production once per 3 months or even 6 months. At the same time, if you continuously think about your pipeline, if you apply the approaches which I mentioned before, like shift to the left, like continuous testing, like measurement for root cause analysis and changes to your pipeline, you will be able to move to the Scrum type of the delivery and even Kanban, when each task can be executed separately, standalone from each other without the significant dependency, and with a high speed from idea to the business value and production environment. In general, if you may execute your software development lifecycle in the very short timeline, then you may think about, most probably you have a high level of automation for your pipeline, and you may think about decreasing the size of the feature, decreasing the size of the task which you are working on, as well as on delivering that to production continuously without significant dependencies to the other tasks, without waiting for Scrum events or something like that. So full Kanban approach in this case. Let's step back a little bit and talk about general approach, how to move from state A to state B, from state where you are at the moment to the better state. And first of all, my recommendation is pretty simple. Think about, all steps we previously told you with you about. Do you have a measurement of your pipeline? Do you have understanding of the quality of each of your activity inside of the software development lifecycle? Do you know the root cause of the issues you are facing on regular basis? Do you have a statistic about the bugs you are introducing to production, to UAT, to development environment? Do you have a statistic of the activities you spend a lot of the time? If your answer is yes, then start thinking about improvements. And what kind of improvements could be introduced? As I told, first of all, think about shift to left approach. Think how you can find an issue at early stage of the project, of the software development activities lifecycle, and implement new steps, new practices. What practices can be introduced? First of all, if you are talking about requirements, we can think about invest approach. You may browse it in internet what invest means in terms of the stories, in terms of the requirements for software development tasks. As a part of these checks, you may find that your current tasks are too big for a development team, are not autonomic, not be able to execute it with a high level of autonomy, without communicating, without depending on other teams. As well as you may find that something could not be tested. So that's why we need to rework altogether with business analysts the task to the way to make sure that it could be tested by development team or by testing team. Then think about development activities. Think about the code base itself and the level of quality for your code base. Think about static code analysis. Think about non-functional requirements and the level of coverage by non-functional requirements as well as functional requirements in your pipeline. For example, do you use unit testing? Do you use is unit testing is mandatory for any change, and unit test execution is a part of your pipeline and automatically executed for each commit? Do you fail your pipeline if unit tests are failed? If so, this is good. This is like a starting point to make sure that the application is working as expected, because once again, unit tests is a very lightweight way to make sure that business functionality is working as expected. Well, then think about the code itself. Is it documented well? Does it contain, for example, a commit message in the right way? Can you find the source of the changes? Can you understand why this or that change is introduced to the code? Do you understand what is the functionality it's created for? Do you know who created this change to address the question in future if needed? And other stuff, which is not on the top layer of the knowledge, but think about it. What could be a quality for your code, for your code base, for your application itself? What kind of the testing you can execute right locally, right on your computer if you are a developer? How to interact, how to create that, how to promote such changes to project manager, to scrum master, to product owner. If you are a developer, everyone expects you to deliver business value, to deliver the code which will work for production to achieve some goal. And this is really good. However, in most cases, if you are not following best practices, engineering practices, it means that you will spend a lot of time, you as developer will spend a lot of time to find out a root cause of a production issue, to fix a production issue, to find out why this or that functionality is working in this way, to avoid, breaking of the existing functionality, to introducing new regression issue in new code when you're working on new code, just because you have low level of documentation, you have low level of unit testing coverage, etc. As a result, you may spend up to, 80, even 90% of your time for, maintenance, for a stabilization of existing application. So that's why you always need to understand what the quality of the code base you will work in the next time. And if you are not protecting yourself, if you are not explaining it to project manager, to product owner, you will always ignore technical debt. You will always increase the cost of maintenance. You will always increase the cost of future development. And the same for quality assurance team. If you execute some, test cases and you always see the fails, think about it. What is the reason? Why all the time you are executing, for example, some test case from regression test suite, you see the issue again and again? Think about that. Think what can you change, or what can somebody else change to avoid such bugs. And in most cases, you will find that somebody else, developers, for example, or test automation team, didn't apply some additional steps, some additional quality activity to let you avoid the bug in regression testing, to let you avoid seeing the issue in your activity. So the next concept which I would like to introduce to you, in addition to shift to left, continuous testing, measurement, is and understanding of your pipeline through creating a pipeline diagram with all measurement. I would like to say a little bit about cross team communication, cross competencies communication. When you are talking to all other participants or all other stakeholders in SDLC. You are in touch with product owner, with developers, with quality assurance specialists, with the DevOps specialists, etc. Why? Once again, because your current flow may be a root cause of all issues you are facing, you are bringing to business due to inefficient activities. So that's why if you are tester, you may be not able to fix something, but the issue may be fixed by a business analyst or by architect or by developer. And that's why you need to bring your issue to the board and explain to everyone what you see, what could be a root cause, and what you are proposing to change in your pipeline. And it's related to any role who are engaged in software development lifecycle. So that's why you may use different tools to introduce the proper quality gates. For example, SonarQube. I mentioned it as a let's say industry-wide standard for static code analysis and for a lot of activities related to for example security testing, basic security testing, static application security testing, and other stuff. You may use other tools in your pipeline which will help you with non-functional requirements. However, let me talk a little bit about very famous, very tool which is in trend for everyone, about AI. And it may help in a lot of the cases which you ignored in the past. Let me show you a very simple example. If you are playing a role of developer and you spend a lot of the time for new functionality development, and you cannot spend your time for unit testing because of the low culture or because of the requirement from your client, from, I don't know, project manager or somebody else, just because unit test creation takes a time, you may put your activity or some of your activities to AI tool. AI tool is designed to help people make their activity faster and better, to bring you new ideas, to automate, recurring work, daily routine for you, to let you focus on more intellectual activities. Let me explain how you can do that. So let's imagine that you are creating new class and you need to create a unit test for this class. In old way, you need to type additional code which will cover existing class by unit test. At the same time, you may just ask ChatGPT or Copilot or whatever tool do you use, please create a unit tests for those classes for me. And that's it. You will just need to take a look on the output of the tool, which usually takes much less time than coding it on your own. Is it feasible to use it in all the cases? No. Is it feasible to have a 100% quality from AI? I would say no. However, it definitely saves your time and lets you to focus more on other activities, for example, business functionality development. It also helps you with a minimal effort from you to increase the unit testing coverage, which automatically means increasing the quality of your code base. And as a result, it may decrease the effort for all people who are following you in the term of a software development lifecycle. They will see less issues just because you are introducing new quality gate. And you may apply this approach not to only unit tests. You can apply this approach to any of activity, to any aspect of SDLC. You may challenge your task against ChatGPT, for example, and ask it if ChatGPT sees dependencies, if it can break the task down to the smaller pieces, if it can make additional, clarification, if it can recommend something to rephrase to make it more, clear, more visible. For example, if you are playing a role of quality assurance engineer, you may ask AI to create a test data for you, to analyze the report for you, to highlight the root causes, etc. So it doesn't really matter what kind of activity you will put to AI. The only idea that any activity which you are doing on regular basis may be executed by AI with higher speed than you, but maybe not better quality than you. However, once again, if you put all daily routine, if you can put majority of your of the tasks which you spend a lot of time to AI, it will free your time for another activities, for activities which may bring more value from you as an expert. And having a sample of AI into account, the very last concept which I would like to share with you is automation. It means that if you have some repetitive activities in your daily routine, in your pipeline, it would be nice to automate those steps whatever possible. It means that if you do something today manually, it would be nice to have it tomorrow automated. If you have all steps automated, it means that waste and the cost of effort needed for pipeline execution will be decreased. It's the only enabler for fast, frequent, and cheap releases of new business functionality to your production environment. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, do not forget to check the links in description to this video and found how EngX transforming the way we work. Also, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and share this video to your colleagues and friends. It really helps us out. I've been Aleksandr Gushchin. Thank you for watching and see you next time.